Minds in Shadow, the research outpost on Proxima 7, burned against the violet sky as Nira Vesh watched from the command deck of her warship. The mind must be broken before the body can serve, she whispered, her purple skin reflecting the glow of distant explosions. Commander said, her lieutenant, we found something interesting in the Eastern Laboratory Complex. A human female still alive. Niara's silver eyes narrowed. Bring her to me, she said. I'll handle this one personally. The human was brought before her 30 minutes later. Restraints binding her wrists, Naira studied her with cold calculation. The woman stood straight despite her circumstances, her dark hair falling around a face that betrayed no fear. I am Commander Niara Vesh of the Telian Collective, Niara said. Circling the human, and you are now property of our empire, Dr. Ava Prentice, the woman replied calmly. Xenolinguists and I belong to no one, Niara smiled. Revealing teeth like polished opals. We'll see, she said with practiced precision. Naira reached forward, placing her palm against Ava's temple. The gesture initiated the mental domination that had broken thousands before her, the Telian neural wave that collapsed human. Willpower like tissue paper, but instead of the expected submission, Ava simply blinked as something supposed to happen. Ava Askadiniara stepped back, genuine surprise crossing her features. Impossible, she whispered. She tried again, focusing her mental energy into a concentrated stream of dominance that should have crushed Ava's consciousness instead. She felt something unexpected, resistance, yes, but also something else, a reversal. A gentle pushback against her own thoughts. How are you doing this? Naira demanded. No human has ever resisted. Ava's expression remained calm. I'm not doing anything, she said, but I can feel you trying to enter my mind. It's like echoes bouncing back, disturbed. Niara ordered Ava taken to a holding cell. She needed time to consider this anomaly. Humans were inferior beings, their minds easily manipulated by Telian neural pathways. That was how her species had built their empire across 3 systems in her private chamber. Niara reviewed Ava's biological scans. The results were puzzling. The human possessed an unusual neural structure. Something never before documented, a mutation, perhaps. Or an adaptation, you're afraid, came Ava's voice from behind her. Niara whirled around. Ava wasn't there. The cell monitor showed her sitting quietly in detention. You're afraid I'll tell them you failed. The voice came again. But Naira realized with growing horror that it wasn't audible. It was inside her mind. Impossible. Naira whispered aloud. She stormed to the detention level. Dismissing the guards with a gesture, Ava looked up as the door slid open. How did you speak to me? Niara demanded. Ava tilted her head. I didn't speak, she said, but I felt your confusion. Your fear, I simply responded to it. I don't fear humans. Niara hissed. Not humans, Ava said softly. You fear failure. You fear your superiors. Discovering your weakness, Niara stepped closer, her violet skin flushing darker with anger. You know nothing of me. But as their eyes met, Niara felt it again, that strange intrusion. Like fingers gently brushing against her thoughts, something no being had ever done to a Telian. You lost someone, Ava said suddenly, someone who looked at you with disappointment before they died. Niara's hand struck out, gripping Ava's throat. Stay out of my mind. Human, she snarled, but even as she threatened physical violence, Niara felt something breaking inside her own mental barriers. Memories she'd suppressed for decades, surfacing against her will and, for the first time since becoming commander. Niara Vesh felt afraid. Reverberations. 3 days passed, and Naira refused to visit the detention cell personally. She sent subordinates to monitor the human, maintaining distance as she struggled to rebuild her mental barriers. The unexpected intrusion had left her shaken. Though she revealed nothing to her crew's status report on the prisoner, she demanded as Lieutenant Krell entered her quarters. Stable and compliant. Commander, he said, she requests reading material. Claims boredom. Niara's eyes narrowed as she attempted to influence any crew members. Influence. Krell looked confused. She's just a human. Commander, she can barely communicate with the guards. Of course he wouldn't understand. Niara hadn't shared her experience with anyone. Leave me, she ordered that night. As Niara meditated in her quarters, attempting to strengthen her mental shields, she felt it again, a gentle presence at the edges of her consciousness. I'm not trying to hurt you, Ava's voice whispered in her mind. I don't even know how I'm doing this. Niara's eyes snapped open. Get out of my head, she hissed aloud. I can't, came the response. It's like we're connected somehow. Your emotions call to me. Furious, Niara stormed to the detention level. Dismissing the guards with a gesture, Ava sat cross-legged on her bed. Eyes calm and watchful as Niara entered. What are you? Niara demanded. No human possesses telepathic abilities. I don't know, Ava said. I've always been sensitive to others' emotions. But never like this. Never able to communicate this way. Niara circled her. Your scans show abnormal neural activity in your temporal lobe. A mutation, perhaps. Or perhaps it's your people's attempt to dominate my mind that triggered something dormant. Ava suggested. Like an immune response, the thought disturbed Niara. The Tylian mental dominance had never encountered resistance, let alone reversal. She placed her palm against the wall. Steadying herself as an unexpected memory surfaced, her sisters faced the disappointment in her eyes. You've become what you swore to fight against. Niara, your sister Ava, said quietly. She didn't approve of what you've become. Niara spun. Anger flaring. Stop that. I'm not doing it intentionally, Ava said. Your emotions. Your memories, they're flowing into me when you're upset. The connection strengthens. Niara forced herself to calm. Her training as a mental dominator had taught her control. She would not lose it now. Then I will feel nothing, she said coldly. Ava smiled sadly. Is that how you've survived? By feeling nothing? Something in the human's gentle tone broke through Niara's defenses. It is how I've thrived, she said. Her voice softer than intended. Compassion is weakness. The collective taught me that. And yet you remember your sister with love, Ava, observed Niara, moved closer. Studying Ava's face. What is your purpose here? Were you sent to undermine me? I was researching communication systems between species, Ava replied. Ironic, isn't it? I came to study how different beings connect. And now I'm connected to you in a way I never imagined possible. Against her better judgment, Niara sat on the edge of the bed. Show me, she said. Show me how you see into my mind. Ava hesitated, then slowly reached out, her fingers stopping inches from Niara's purple skin. May I? She asked. The request for permission startled Niara. No one asked permission of Tylians, especially not captives. She nodded once. Ava's fingers gently touched Niara's temple, and the connection that had been a whisper became a flood. Memories cascaded between them. Niara as a child, playing with her sister among crystal formations, her first mental domination training. The pain of having her empathy systematically removed. Her sister's death after speaking against collective practices. Stop, Niara gasped. Pulling away, but it was too late. She had revealed too much. You weren't always this person, Ava said quietly. The cruelty was taught, not innate. Niara stood, moving toward the door. You know nothing. I know you're in pain, Ava said. And I know part of you questions everything you've been told. As the door closed between them, Niara leaned against the corridor wall. Her mental shields were crumbling, and worse. She wasn't certain she wanted to rebuild them. The connection to the human felt both terrifying and strangely liberating. Like breaking chains she hadn't realized she wore on the bridge later. Her lieutenant reported, We've received orders from Central Command. An Inquisitor is being dispatched to evaluate our progress with the human subjects. Niara felt a cold dread settle in her stomach. An Inquisitor would discover the connection, would sense her doubt, and for the first time in her career, Commander Niara Vesh considered defiance. Wavelengths. The Inquisitor arrives tomorrow, Niara said, entering Ava's cell without preamble. When they come, you must show no sign of our connection. Ava looked up from the small datapad Niara had secretly provided her the day before. What happens if they discover it? They will destroy your mind and recalibrate mine, Niara said. Her voice flat. Neither process is survivable with one's self intact. 2 weeks had passed since their initial confrontation, and the mental bond between them had evolved from intrusion to something more complex. Their minds touched frequently now, sometimes intentionally, sometimes spontaneously. Niara found herself sharing memories she'd long suppressed, while Ava offered glimpses of Earth, of human connection, of a life lived with emotions intact. Can you hide your thoughts from them? Ava asked. You've been trained in mental techniques. Niara paced the small cell, her purple skin catching the dim light an Inquisitor's abilities far exceed mine. They don't simply read thoughts, they excavate them. Ava stood. Moving closer then, we need to prepare, strengthen our defenses together. There is no we in this, Niara snapped. Though without conviction, you are still my prisoner. A gentle smile touched Ava's lips. Am I? When was the last time you gave me an order you expected me to follow? The question hung between them, unanswerable, somewhere in the past weeks. Their relationship had transformed, neither acknowledged it directly. But both felt it. The shifts in Niara had been subtle at first. Extra rations for Ava. The datapad, longer conversations, but as days passed, Niara found herself questioning everything: the collective's dominance practices, the subjugation of other species, her own role in an empire built on mental slavery. Niara said suddenly, "Show me how humans meditate."
Perhaps there's something in your techniques I can use.
They sat facing each other on the floor. Knees nearly touching, Ava guided Niara through human mindfulness practices. So different from the Tylian mental discipline that focused on dominance rather than awareness. As they breathed together, their minds naturally synchronized. "Your world is beautiful," Niara said suddenly. Eyes still closed. "Those mountains in your memory, the ones covered in green, the cascades," Ava replied. "I grew up nearby. We have nothing like them on Talia. Everything is crystal and stone." The admission of admiration for anything human would have been unthinkable weeks before now. It felt natural. Niara found herself hungry for Ava's memories of Earth, of human connection. The very emotions she'd been trained to exploit in others now fascinated her. "May I show you something?" Ava asked, extending her hand. Niara hesitated, then placed her purple palm against Ava's. A new memory flooded between them. Ava with another human. Their bodies close, lips touching. A surge of emotion accompanying the physical connection. Yara pulled back, startled. What was that? "Intimacy," Ava said quietly. "Connection beyond words." "Tylians don't touch like that," Niara said. "Physical contact is for domination or reproduction, never for emotional exchange. That explains a lot about your society." Ava, observed Niara, found herself staring at Ava's lips. Curious despite herself, she leaned forward slightly. "Would you show me again?" "In memory, only instead." Ava closed the distance between them. Her lips touched Niara's gently, briefly, before pulling away. The physical contact sent a shockwave through their mental connection, amplifying it exponentially. "I apologize," Ava whispered. "That was presumptuous." Niara touched her own lips, confused by the cascade of sensations. "Why would you do that with someone who imprisoned you?" "You're not my captor anymore," Ava said simply. "I'm not sure you ever truly were. Or something else now, something I don't have words for." Even as a linguist, the ship's communication system chimed. Breaking the moment, "Commander, to the bridge," came Lieutenant Krell's voice. "We've received updated arrival coordinates for the Inquisitor's vessel." Niara stood, composing herself. "I must go," as she reached the door. Ava called after her, "What will you do when they arrive?" Niara paused, her back to the human. "What I must," she said. But as she walked the corridor to the bridge, her mind raced with possibilities that would have been unimaginable a month ago. The Inquisitor would expect a demonstration of her control over the humans. They would expect Ava to be broken, subservient. They would expect Niara to be the perfect Tylian commander for the first time in her career. Commander Niara Vesh began planning to defy the collective, and as the plan formed in her mind, she felt Ava's presence, offering not judgment, but support. When Niara reached the bridge, she made her first decision. "Lieutenant, move the human Ava apprentice to secure quarters adjacent to mine for enhanced interrogation." No one questioned the order. But as the doors to the bridge closed behind her, Niara knew she had crossed a line from which there was no return. Resonance. The Inquisitor's ship docked with ominous precision. Niara stood at attention in the hangar bay, her expression carefully neutral. As the airlock cycled open, Inquisitor Dorn stepped through, his tall frame and ashen purple skin marking him as pure Tylian elite. "Commander Vesh," he said, his voice like gravel, "I understand you have an anomaly among your human captives." "Yes, Inquisitor," she replied, a female with unusual resistance to our methods. "I've moved her to special quarters for focused study." Dorn's silver eyes narrowed. "I will examine this specimen myself." As they walked the corridors, Niera felt Ava's presence in her mind. He's powerful. Ava's thoughts whispered, I can feel him already trying to probe. Shield yourself as we practiced, Niera. Thought back, show him only what we've prepared. They entered Niera's quarters, where Ava waited. Appearing appropriately subdued, the Inquisitor circled her like a predator. Interesting, he murmured. I sense something unusual indeed. Begin the demonstration. Commander Niera placed her hand on Ava's temple. Initiating what appeared to be a domination sequence, in reality, they were reinforcing their shared mental shields. The Inquisitor frowned. Something is wrong, he said. Suddenly your technique is flawed without warning. He thrust his own hand forward, pushing Niera aside. His mental attack slammed into Ava with brutal force. She gasped. Dropping to her knees, Stop, Niera commanded. The Inquisitor turned. Surprise! Evident you defend a human. His eyes widened with realization. You've been compromised. His mental focus shifted to Niera. Tearing into her thoughts, she felt her defenses crumbling as he excavated her memories, her doubts, her growing feelings for Ava. Corruption, he hissed. Weakness. You've allowed this creature to affect you. As pain exploded behind Niera's eyes. She felt Ava's presence surging forward, their minds fully merged for the first time. Not as separate entities, but as a unified force. The Inquisitor staggered back. Impossible, he gasped together. Their combined consciousness pushed back against his assault, for every memory he extracted. They reclaimed too, for every pain he inflicted. They returned it threefold. You've betrayed everything we stand for, the Inquisitor snarled. Blood trickling from his nose, no, Niera replied, standing straighter as Ava rose beside her. I've remembered what we were meant to be before domination became our only purpose. With a final mental thrust, they overwhelmed him. The Inquisitor collapsed. Unconscious but alive, we need to leave, Ava said. Already moving toward the door now, harmonic flight, the ship moved silently through uncharted space. Its signature masked by modifications Niera had implemented during their escape. 3 weeks had passed since they'd fled the collective. Stealing a scout vessel and disappearing into the void between systems, were approaching the nebula. Niera said from the pilot seat it should provide cover while we consider our next move. Ava stood behind her, a hand resting lightly on Niera's shoulder. Their connection had deepened since their confrontation with the Inquisitor, becoming something neither had words to describe. Their minds touched constantly now, thoughts and emotions flowing freely between them. The collective will never stop hunting us, Ava said quietly. No. Niera agreed, but they'll be looking for a Tylian commander and her human prisoner, not whatever we've become. They guided the ship into the swirling gases of the nebula, colors dancing across the view screen as the engines powered down. Niera turned in her seat, looking up at Ava. I still don't understand what happened to us. She admitted how a human could breach Tylian mental defenses. Ava smiled. Perhaps both our species have been wrong about what connection truly means. The Tylians sought to dominate minds. Humans often fear telepathic contact, but what if true connection is meant to be reciprocal? A harmony rather than a hierarchy? Niera stood, her purple fingers intertwining with Ava's. Is that what we are now? Harmony. We're something new, Ava said. Something neither human nor Tylian. A bridge. Perhaps their lips met, and with the physical connection came the now familiar surge of their mental bond. Images flowed between them. Earth's oceans, Telia's crystal spires, memories both shared and separate, possibilities stretching into an uncertain future later. As they lay together in the ship's small sleeping quarters, Niera traced patterns on Ava's skin. We could find others, she said. Humans with your abilities. Tylians who questioned the collective. Perhaps we're not alone in this. A rebellion? Ava asked. A revelation, Niera corrected, to show both our peoples there's another way to connect. Ava smiled. From commander to revolutionary. You've come far. We both have, Niera said, and we have farther still to go. Outside the viewpoint, the nebula swirled in patterns of purple and gold, not unlike their merged consciousness to minds from different worlds, once meant to dominate and resist. Now moving together in perfect synchronization as they drifted among the stars, neither captor nor captive but partners, they began planning not just for survival, but for a future where connection replaced conquest, a future they would build together, thought by thought, moment by moment. Across the vastness of space, Whatever comes next, Ava whispered. We face it as one. Nira nodded, her silver eyes reflecting starlight as one she agreed always.